And so many people in life, they'll take a shot or two, and because they can't seem to handle, when they get knocked down, they can't seem to handle mentally understanding that everybody gets knocked down. You take a look at Chris Brady and you see so many fantastic things, but Chris Brady is a champion not because he didn't get knocked down. He's a champion because when he got knocked down, he had the AQ to get back up. Let me define AQ how I did in the book. Absolutely. AQ is IQ, intelligence quotient, multiplied by EQ, emotional quotient, multiplied by WQ, will quotient. Let me explain for the non-mathematical, getting into my algebra here. What that means is so many people think, well, the reason I can't succeed is I'm not smart enough. I don't have a high IQ. And I put IQ on there, but IQ isn't like you have to be a genius level IQ in order to be successful. You have to have enough IQ to be able to develop a game plan. And if you're here tonight, I know you have a high enough IQ to succeed in business because you developed a game plan of getting to this location and you're here. You follow me? That's it. I mean, I can't believe how many people wipe out their opportunity to win big in life because they think that they've got to have some 200-point IQ. And I'm like, man, that is not it. In fact, one of the most successful people actually grew up here in Michigan. A successful entrepreneur was a man named Henry Ford. And Henry Ford had a below average IQ. Literally, the Chicago Tribune called him an idiot. And he got so mad that he decided to sue the Tribune for, you called me an idiot. And the Tribune sits down, they started asking questions. They said, who was Benedict Arnold? And Ford said, I don't know. He said, and who was this? And they asked him 3 or 4 questions. He says, I don't know. They said, see, you're an idiot. You don't know the answer. And he said, listen, I may not know the answer, but I can pick up the phone and in 5 minutes call anybody and get that answer. You follow? And he didn't even have the internet. Today he'd say, I could Google that or something, right? The point is, it's not just cramming a whole bunch of facts into our head that makes someone successful. It's having a game plan, and that's an earlier chapter. But part of AQ is just if you can develop a plan, you're on your way. And because you're here, I know that you have enough IQ to do it. So that's not the separation point. IQ isn't what's going to determine whether you win or fail in life. But the next two will. Because the next two, EQ, emotional quotient, and WQ, will quotient. Do you have the emotional intelligence to go through the roller coaster of life? I mean, if you've ever run a business, there are times in your business where you're like, woohoo! I'm on top of the world. And then later you're like, oh, it's so terrible. And then you go to lunch. You get that roller coaster going, but you have to have that emotional quotient. Can you imagine if you think of some of the top quarterbacks? Man, I grew up watching Roger Staubach play, and I used to love it. I didn't worry if he was down in the game and it was 2 minutes left and he'd come out on the field. I mean, he's Roger the Dodger. You didn't see him sweating. He was Mr. Cool. He had emotional intelligence. He didn't let the pressure build to the point where he panicked and lost control. He was a winner, and he stayed emotionally in control of the situation, even when others. The leader maintains his head even when everybody else is losing theirs. If you're going to have adversity quotient, AQ, if you're going to develop that winning attitude, you've got to be able to handle the things that are going to knock you, and they will knock you. You will take your shots.